A pair of rookies make the Flames opening night roster as we look ahead to the upcoming season. Hey everyone, welcome into Hot Topics. Rob Wong joined alongside by Postmedia Calgary Flames writers Wes Gilbertson and Danny Austin. And guys, Matvei Gridin, Zayne, Parekh, both making the teams, but it looks like they're going to have some different roles to begin the season. Danny, what are your thoughts on those two guys making the team?
I mean, my first thought was as a reporter relief because I was really dreading what the fan base was gonna be like if Gridin was sent down. Matvei Gridin, honestly, like I don't think he was really on most people's radar. I mean, everyone knew who he was. He's a first round pick, but coming into rookie camp and certainly training camp this year, and it just very quickly became obvious that this guy's got something special to him, and he brings a skill set that I just don't think many other players on the Flames have. So despite being 19, yes, he was a bit of a surprise, but it just felt inevitable that the Flames had to find a way to get him in the lineup. It does look like he'll be playing on opening night against the Oilers on Wednesday. With Zayne Parekh, I don't think there was ever really any question he was going to be on the roster. He's too young for the AHL. He has nothing left to prove. There's no reason for him to be back in the O. So it makes sense. We're going to see. I'm writing right now. I think it's going to be really interesting how the Flames manage Zayne Parekh this season. I don't think that we know how many games he's going to play. Will he go to the World Juniors? Potentially. We really don't know. Doesn't look like he'll be playing against the Oilers, but it's this guy is such a centerpiece of the retool in this city. So I think this signals that the future really does start now.
Yeah, and it's so funny the way the reaction's been today. You know, the lines go out on Twitter and, oh my God, Zayne Parech's on the fourth pairing. And, you know, I think it's important that the Flames did the right thing today by keeping a 19-year-old who would either have to stay or go back to junior in the NHL. Zayne Parekh needs experience against NHL players. I don't know that there should be an outrage or an uproar about the fact that he might not play against Connor McDavid on Wednesday. We're talking about a 19-year-old defenseman who the knock on him has always been the ability to defend in a road rank on opening night against the best player in the world. I really don't see this as mismanagement by the Flames if Zayne Parech's not in. I actually see this as sort of a longer-term investment in your asset. Now, Zayne Parekh can't watch 70 games as a rookie this year and I think take a step forward, but you know, picking and choosing his spots, especially in the month of October, I just don't think that that's something that I'd be ready personally to criticize.
Well, look, at social media, there's never any outrage on there, of course, so I'm sure fans will be taking it just fine. Meanwhile, it looks like Jonathan Huberdeau, Martin Pospisil, West, not going to be ready for the start of the season. What do you think the significance is of both of those players being out to at least begin the year?
Well, you know, really obviously to begin with Huberdeau, I mean, we talked all season. You and I and Danny got together once a week to talk about how can the Flames score more goals. Well, the guy who was second on the team in goals and second in points last year is not a guy you want to take out of your lineup on opening night. So while there's excitement about the fact that Matvei Gridin will be in that spot with Matt Coronado and Morgan Frost, it's a huge loss for the Flames to be without Huberdeau. Is a focal point on their power play. It really, it hurts to not have him for opening night. Pospisil, certainly more of a supporting caster, but he brings a lot of speed and he brings a lot of tenacity. And for a team that's trying to play a certain identity, that's a significant loss as well. And so understanding the difficulty of their schedule off the hop, understanding that a team that is on sort of the razor's edge of margins all the time, if they're going to make the playoffs, it's not going to be by 15 points, right? And so to open the season without two key forwards is certainly that's going to be tough to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback on that a little bit, it's not good news losing Jonathan Huberdeau and Martin Pospisil. I mean, it does open up an opportunity for other guys. I did notice Adam Klapka, who finished the season really strong last year, was playing with Nazem Kadri on the line today at practice. Klapka's a guy I jokingly have a bunch of bets that he's going to score 25 goals. Whether I believe that or not, I'm not going to say here. But he is a guy who they want to take a step. You need the guys like Connor Zary to take steps. You have all these young pieces, and I'd include Pospisil in there, who the Flames are really, really relying on to go from being young players to basically being veterans. And this does open up an opportunity right off the hop for those guys to make an impact, because the reality is, like, it can't just be Blake Coleman and Mackenzie Weegar and Jonathan Huberdeau and Nazem Kadri. You need these young guys to take responsibility. So I do think that, assuming it's not long term, there can be some positive to saying, hey, you young guys, you're the guys who we're counting on pushing us over the line a little bit here. And that starts now.
So as we talked about a lot last season, it was a developmental year. Some moves, of course, were made with some of the older players on the roster, but this is still a team that just missed the playoffs a year ago. Wes, when you look at the upcoming season, should there be any expectations?
Oh, that's an interesting way to put it. I think, there were no expectations last year, and they kind of grew externally as the season went. Obviously, wound up losing out in the tiebreaker for that 8th spot. I know there's internal expectations. There's been talk throughout training camp about, we need everyone to be 5 to 10% better. This is the way I always put it. If you gave me $100 and said, are you betting on the Flames to make the playoffs or not? I do think it's going to be difficult. I'm not sure that they're going to score a whole lot more than they did a year ago. I'm curious what it looks like for Dustin Wolf to probably start 60 games this year. Now, if we're talking about them in April as a team that's getting ready for the playoffs, those two words, Dustin and Wolf, are going to be a huge part of it. Like, this kid is so good, he could certainly carry them to a postseason spot. But there's a reason I think that the external expectations, I know the players are sort of insulted by the fact that no one is picking them to be in the playoffs again, but there's a reason the external expectations are what they are.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I mean, I think it speaks to Rasmus Andersson's professionalism that we are not sitting here on the eve of the season only talking about when's he going to get traded. He came in, he's been a total pro. It's just not really a story right now. We know he's going to get moved at some point. And I do think that could be a factor in how the Flames finish at the end of the year, because what they should be doing is trading for prospects or draft picks when they do move him, and that's going to be a big loss at some point this season. So, I think it's going to be hard when you subtract a guy like Rasmus to really expect them to be able to carry that momentum all the way to the end of the year, which they're going to have to do because, as Wes said, the margins are incredibly thin. I think the Flames can also be as good as they were last year, and I think that teams like Anaheim and even San Jose are going to be a little bit better, and those points that they were picking up in division are going to be harder to come by. Look, I think the best case scenario is last year plus a point, really, that they do get into the playoffs. I don't think that they're going to be better than that. It's also just hard to talk about because I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that we're seeing 19-year-olds in the lineup. We're going to get Rasmus moved out. The new generation is coming in. And that seems like people should be happy with that, to be honest. I really... The measure may be, do they make the playoffs internally? I don't think that's how we have to measure success this season.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It all gets going on Wednesday night. Tough test with the Oilers in the Battle of Ontario, or Battle of Alberta, I should say, to kick things off. I'm thinking Ontario right now, Danny.
Blue Jays fans.
The Blue Jays fan.
It's all about the Blue Jays.
It is all about the Blue Jays right now, except if you're a Flames fan getting ready for opening night on Wednesday. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. For Danny Austin and Wes Gilbertson, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.